guys, Pope Sano here, and yeah, I'm back with a video, I guess just to give an update. Made an update recently on my channel, the community post, giving, I guess, a relatively vague update about what's going on in my life, why I went from doing like an insane amount of videos, an insane amount of time on YouTube for like, I don't know, 6 months straight to basically absolutely nothing. And there's a few reasons for it. A lot of you will know that my health situation hasn't been great, but also now there's a lot more like life stuff going on that has taken up a lot of my time. But yeah, I just want to talk about some of that, so some of you will be interested in maybe getting a bit of an update, and others you won't care so much. But yeah, I think I'm also going to give a bit of a channel update too, like what my plans are, and how some of the life stuff that is going on right now, which is good news for a change, will probably bleed into this channel. So yeah, I guess there's no great way to get into it, but just by way of helping you guys understand what's going on and really why I did stop making videos. It had nothing to do with League of Legends. I was truly having a great time playing this game. I hit Masters multiple times last season. Not only did I hit Masters, but I got out of like low Master. Like I was about 200 LP at one point, which, you know, I'm very proud of, and I really was looking forward to continuing to try to get better at this game. But that leads me into the medical stuff, which is the reason why I had to stop playing League. And really, there was multiple months where I wasn't playing any games at all. In fact, most of the time I was in bed. Basically, the short of it is, while I don't have a specific diagnosis, a lot of what's going on is extreme amount of pain throughout my body, extreme fatigue, weakness, muscle spasms, twitching in the hands specifically as well, and a whole lot of other issues. So over the last few months, I've been getting MRIs and ultrasounds and x-rays and blood work and you name it. It's been a lot, and that's been taking a lot of my energy, a lot of my attention recently. And I don't know, I guess in some sense I'm coming to terms with, you know, I don't necessarily feel like sharing like what my doctor is saying about these things. I think there's going to be a new normal in my life, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. And so what that has meant on a practical level is, you know, just a few lifestyle changes really to help, not only with the symptoms, but to just make sure I'm being, you know, productive in my life, still achieving my goals, that I'm being a good husband still, because that's important too. And yeah, so I don't know, maybe that's more or less where I'll leave that, but hopefully that gives some of you a better picture about what's going on. It really did take away a lot of my ability to play League. And it's only been recently, over the last like 2 weeks or so, that I've started to play some quick plays again. But even so, like playing these games, I get tired very quickly. And it's hard to focus throughout the whole game. Sometimes my hands will not do what I'm wanting them to do while I'm playing the game, and that's just a reality right now. So yeah, so hopefully that gives you guys a bit of a better idea. And I appreciate a lot of your kind words and stuff like that. It's actually been it's been really cool to see, like, me, like, not even doing YouTube for that long, but the community that we had built on here was obviously something really cool, because I had so many people reach out with kind words and everything. And I guess I apologize in some sense, because I should have just made this update video sooner, but I guess in some sense it became low on the priority sheet. And so yeah, that leads me, I guess, into the next thing I want to talk about, which is my my life update. So a lot of you guys probably knew what I was doing. I was trying to finish my master's degree, and many of you know, studying theology, studying religion. And happy to say that I did finish that degree. Was a tough finish. It took, it took a lot of work to get to the end, and there was a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of stress, but we did it. We did it, and so I finished with honors and everything, and yeah, I busted my butt throughout graduate school. So anyone who's in graduate school listening to me, you'll know. But the main thing is, though, I ended up getting hired at my university as a sessional, or maybe some of you are more familiar with the word adjunct professor, which is pretty cool, because to be a professor has been a dream of mine for a really long time. And I guess in some sense I'm there, but as an adjunct or as a sessional, it's not like a full-time thing or anything, but hey, I've got my foot in the door. I've got my first professor job, and we're just gonna do the best we can to make a good prof, and really try to show the institution, I guess, that I'm worth keeping around. So that's obviously a big thing. So alongside of that, I'm actually writing a book right now with another professor who works at the same university, and him and I are both really interested in Koine Greek and ancient Greek, as maybe I've mentioned on this channel before a little bit about that. But really the idea behind this book is introducing people to the utility of that language today, as far as it pertains to the study of Christianity itself. For some of you may know this, but I don't want to be presumptuous. But Koine Greek specifically, as well as Hebrew, and of course Latin as well, are very, very important languages to Christianity as a historic religion, as a faith group that's been around for thousands of years at this point, because many of the texts are written in these languages. So for example, Koine Greek, which is an early form of what today is spoken in Greece, modern Greek, the New Testament is originally written in Greek, as well as we have a whole copy of the Old Testament written in Greek called the Septuagint. You may have seen it abbreviated before as LXX. That just means Septuagint as well. And yeah, so Septuagint, New Testament, and then what we call the patristic writers as well, were these really important early writers in Christian history, most of which wrote in Greek. So names like Origen are really important. Justin Martyr, there's tons, and even not just some of the patristic writers, but some other contemporary writing is written in Greek too. So if we want to understand not only what the Christians are saying at the time, but what their contemporaries are saying as well, this language is very important. And so our book is helping people to understand the utility of that language for today, for engaging such a historic religion like Christianity in its language rather than just our own language. So it's not really a book that's about teaching Greek, you know what I mean? But it's more about showing why we actually need to maintain knowledge of this language, not only for scholars, like people like myself, theologians, who are deeply interested in these things from an academic level, but even the people who, practice Christianity, or the person who is just interested in a faith like Christianity and they want to learn more. This language is very, very important. So, yeah, those are two like really major things going on right now that I'm starting to focus on a great deal. It's going to start to really ramp up here, both the writing process and as well my first semester as a professor will be this fall semester, so I'm getting ready for my course. And that requires, of course, a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of preparing lectures, a lot of thinking about assignments, building a syllabus, all that boring stuff that most of you probably don't care about. So, yeah. I guess another thing that's kind of been going on in my life, which, well, let me just say this. We've only been going for about 10, 11 minutes or so. So let me talk a little bit more. I have been getting more and more interested in the realm of theology, more so than biblical studies. And for those of you that are not familiar with the difference between theology and biblical studies, let me briefly explain. Biblical studies is an academic field which takes the Bible as its object. Not only the Bible, but the Bible and contemporary literature. And I guess really anyone that has had something to say about the Bible, that also has studied it on an academic level. So really what you're studying is in most cases the text itself, the context of it, the history of it, the language of it, its transmission, its understanding and care and even use in different periods of history, different cultures around the world, all of this type of stuff. That's what biblical studies is. So my interest in Koine Greek falls within biblical studies because we're taking the language of the text and trying to understand it on a deeper level. Not only trying to understand the language itself, but also how the authors of the Bible use the language to communicate what they're trying to communicate. And that leads to all sorts of very interesting things that I could spend absolutely forever talking about. So then on the flip side of that, you kind of have the other realm in my field, which is theology. Now, theology, of course, means the study of God. And really, I would say this part of the field is super akin to philosophy. If any of you have taken a philosophy course before or done any type of thinking about philosophy, theology is super, super close here. You're oftentimes applying philosophical principles to the thought about religion, the thought about God and who God might be or may not be or whatever. Oftentimes theology is far more, it's done far more from a belief that God does exist, but there's plenty of people that engage in theology as well who are agnostic or atheist, and they have interest in just the use of theology in the past or something like that, or even the use of theology today, rather than developing theology themselves. So that's also a part of it. And so I've been becoming far more interested in theology itself. And I don't know if I've said this before, but I am a Christian. There's been points in my life where I haven't been super sure about what I am. My academic experience has both informed and confused that at points. So I guess in part it is my academic experience, but also my personal faith that I'm becoming a little bit more interested in theology. And this kind of takes me more towards an update about my channel. because I think what I would like to try to do out of something that is probably purely cathartic for me is to make videos that are basically just like this, where I pick a topic that pertains to my field. Maybe it's something that I'm thinking about, or someone I'm reading, or a lecture that I'm giving, something along those lines, or maybe an update on my book and the things we're discussing in there. And yeah, basically just speaking into the mic and playing some League of Legends background gameplay in the background. So I'd be interested if you guys are interested in seeing this channel come a little bit more alive again, but obviously it's going to look very different. The reality is, guys, I am not medically in a position in my life right now where I can devote all this time and energy to high elo League of Legends content, or even the educational League of Legends content, because I was putting a ton of work into that. Like, you guys would not believe the work that I would put into these videos, and I know that not all of them were like the highest quality videos, but at the end of the day, I was new at YouTube, but I just had a passion for the game, and that's what kind of helps me just want to, I don't know, continue to make videos, and try to improve even. So yeah, I think, like, in some sense that's where we're at with this channel. Yeah, gave you guys a medical update, a little bit of a life update, bit of a channel update, and again, I would love to discuss just some of my academics here and the things that I'm interested in. Some of you listening, maybe you do have a personal faith, and that's great, and I'm happy you're here. And some of you listening, maybe you don't, and I'm happy you're listening to me right now as well, because I think that in some sense the reality is that we're losing the ability to think well about these topics, especially as, like, you know, the West, we've become so polarized, we've become so tribal, where it's like, oh, I'm X, or I'm Y, or I'm Z, Z for the Americans listening, and you know, you just judge someone based on like those labels, and you don't have the time to listen to them anymore. You assume who they are based on the labels. I'm not really interested in that. I'm just interested in, like, thinking well and sharing my passions and engaging with others in that. I think that's the heart of academia. I think that's the heart of what it means to even be a professor. And so I'm exploring that on, like, a philosophical level. But yeah, so I guess let me know in the comments if this is something you would be interested in. I don't really want to model this channel after anything, just sharing my thoughts and engaging with people and showing you the League of Legends gameplay that I'm currently doing, playing right now, which honestly at the moment is a whole lot of normals, and I'm playing weird things like Kiana support because it's a lot of fun. Yep, I'm playing a bit of jungle too, but I'm just playing this game for the fun of it. So I mean, if you'd be interested in watching me have fun playing League, and just listening to me talk, I think this could be a great channel to put on a second monitor, maybe to help you fall asleep, maybe to just have in your ears while you're doing your own thing too. That's kind of my vision right now, and yeah, I guess if there's a desire for that, I'm here for it. Maybe even if there isn't a desire for that, I'm here for it anyway, because again, it's just something that's like cathartic for me. So anyway, this video is getting a little bit long, but just let me know, and again, I really appreciate everyone's support. Hope to be back with some more videos soon. Have a good one. Hope pay out.